welcome to another episode of This is Australia. And guess what? We're still in Corfu, the beautiful island of Mediterranean. A lot of civilizations came here and ruled the island over many centuries. Now, we're at a place called Liston, and this place was designed by a French architect called Frédéric de Lesseps. But since we're talking about architecture, let's go to Los Angeles. Now, architecture in Los Angeles is different. When you go into places like Beverly Hills and Hollywood, there's some beautiful buildings that are amazing. I mean, I loved a lot of the buildings that they were there. Even the modern ones, they were different. But some of the areas, like West Hollywood, for example, I think that they had a little bit more to be desired. I think that they were probably made out of timber, and they weren't as good as I hoped to be. Famous Los Angeles, it does have some pretty bad buildings, and I think that they could do something about it. But overall, the experience was great. Well, Liston was built about 200 years ago by the French while they were ruling the island for about 7 years. Only in 7 years they managed to just build a lot of buildings like this one here. Of course, we had the British that they built the other buildings on the other side, and we had the Venetians here for about 400 years, and they built the old city of Corfu. Plus a lot of the fortresses, the main two fortresses here in Corfu, they were built by the Venetians. When it comes to construction in Los Angeles, we didn't see a lot of it happening. We saw together about 6 cranes building probably about 6 high-rise buildings. And if we compare that with Sydney, for example, where we're at the moment have 323 cranes working full on, that is a big difference. And construction, it's the life of the economy. And Sydney at the moment is going really well. Now, we saw just one bobcat in the whole Los Angeles working at the CBS building in Los Angeles. And as for the roadworks, it was only very little happening. And some of the construction sites, I think that they need to just get a few lessons from Sydney and from Australia. I think we're much better there organizing scaffolding for safety around the buildings and organizing awnings. Like this awning you see here in Los Angeles in the middle of Beverly Hills, and it looks pretty flimsy compared to what we build in Australia. I think we're pretty good at that sector, construction in Australia in general, not just in Sydney. Welcome back, and you wouldn't believe where I am. We're still in Corfu at the moment, and I just thought it's time to have a haircut. But this is a haircut with a difference. Well, for the first time in my life, I'm having a haircut and they're actually washing my hair. But I do get a free massage with it. It's quite amazing because normally you don't get that around Australia or even in LA. And that's a good thing that I think a lot of the customers would actually like to have their scalp just massaged a little bit like they do here in Greece. So that's a good lesson that we could learn. Now, I'm waiting for the second time that they're gonna wash my hair. And this time, I'm gonna get the special treatment. Now, the special treatment involves a special shampoo, which is the most expensive apparently in the world. And you just need a little drop and you make a lot of soap out of it. Now, if we go back to LA now, we can have a look at some of the shops around Beverly Hills and down Rodeo Drive, where you can have basically anything you like as far as your body is concerned. And it was very funny because we found this shop with a big sign at the front of it. You can see it now on your screens. And what it said, restoring. And I thought, hang on, restoration? We usually restore a house or we restore a car. But this shop was a shop for restoration with a difference. You can restore your whole body. It was for humans. Basically, you can go in there and you can do all sorts of things, from Botox to anything you need, and they can just make you brand new again. But you don't have to go to LA. You can still do it here in Greece or even in Australia. But now, just let me enjoy my hair wash with the most expensive shampoo. Apparently, they use some stones as well. I don't know what they're using them for, but it sounds exciting. Get back in a minute. Well, that was an incredible feeling. I mean, having this massage, it was great. I do recommend it. If you're a professional, just do a nice massage to the heads of your customers. Now, another nice touch that I thought it was really, really good is this one here. And I haven't seen it anywhere in Australia or anywhere in the world. Basically now, look, they serve me a coffee, really nice coffee here and some biscuits. And, you want to have your coffee and, it's a bit difficult, having this thing on, and you have to take it out and you have to get your hands out of there and then you get full of hair. But look at this nice touch. I mean, how much does it cost to have every single one of these around the world to work like this? Look at that. Now, I can just use my phone, I can have my coffee, and I can use my hands like normal. Very nice touch. But let's go back to Beverly Hills. We again down at Rodeo Drive, and I thought everything in Rodeo Drive would be so expensive because it's Rodeo Drive. Come on, it's Beverly Hills, maybe the most expensive shopping center in the whole world. But guess what? A service like we're having here, even having your nails looked after, and they do all sorts of things, of course, pedicure and everything. Can you just imagine that the prices that you pay over there are very similar of what we're paying in Australia? So while you are in Beverly Hills, when you are in Los Angeles, make sure you have the whole treatment. It's not expensive. Like I thought it would be very expensive. It's not. I will be very curious to find out how much it cost me here to cut my hair in Curlew, because with all these services that you get, I think I'll have to pay about 50 euros. Okay. Can we continue now? Oh, let me have some coffee first. Oh, look at these biscuits and everything. Now, while we're talking about coffee, let's have a look at our experience with coffee in America. Now, I love my coffee. I've been to Italy many times and usually have my espresso, my little short espresso. And in Italy, it's just like a whole philosophy about coffee. You go there, just have your coffee for 2 minutes and then you go straight away. It's incredible. I love when I go to Italy. Now, we're here in America, right? And we're trying to find a good coffee. Now, it's very disappointing, but my fellow of Americans, can you just try to see if you can make a nice coffee? I've been to many different places and I could not get a decent coffee. Now, I went to this traditional Americano sort of coffee shop, you know, for breakfast and that. And they brought me this coffee that I couldn't drink it. I asked for a mocha and it was horrible. I had to ask for another one and it was $4.90, something like that. There is a receipt. You can see now on your screens. Very expensive and nothing like what we used to. I mean, the Americans may have been used to it, but it's very difficult for tourists when they go there to have a good coffee. Now, another thing is about espresso. When you serve your espresso, not only in America, but also in Australia, there's a little tiny spoon that we use with the espresso, right? Maybe go for a visit in Italy and check it out and see how they do it over there. If you copy something, you should do how they do it. So, I've been to different places for an espresso, and they bring me this espresso with a big spoon like this, but it's actually a timber stick. The Grove, the most expensive and the best shopping center that I've seen. And I had a coffee then, you pay about $5 again, and it's very disappointing. And then you ask for sugar and they say, what's that? They'll just bring you the chemical sugar. And then we found this amazing place called Nespresso. I mean, look at the pictures, look at the videos that we took from there. It's incredible. It's so well designed and so impressive. And it's a place where you can have as many as 16 or 20 different tastes of coffee. I mean, it's great. I love that. And you can get all sorts of different things there. It's beautiful. If you are there, you make sure you just visit Nespresso, and not just once, but many, many times to just taste all the different coffees. But you would think that I would just find my real coffee there as well. I'm sorry, but I will disappoint you. But the strongest and the best espresso that they served me, it was nothing like the real McCoy. Nothing like the Italian espresso that we drink in Italy. So I have to say that when you're in Beverly Hills, the service there is superb. I mean, look at this. Now, this is what I call service. She actually turned my cup around so it's easier for me to pick it up. Well, this is incredible. I do feel like a store man right now. At least my hair does anyway. But now, I finish my coffee and I go and pay. I was very curious to find out how much they charge for it. Okay, let's go. Perfect, perfect. Now it's the time. So how much do I owe you? Thank you very much, it was really good service. $17. Oh, sorry, that's euros. 17 euros, and you get a free massage with it. Well, it is quite amazing when you walk around this place here and you find all this great shopping, but nothing can be compared with Hollywood shopping. Now, have a look at these shots that we took from Hollywood. There's so many shops of every single thing you have seen in the movies in Hollywood, from the wigs to the clothes, even the guns and the knives. So while you're there, don't miss the shopping at Hollywood. But while you're in Corfu, don't forget to visit this old center of Corfu town. Well, this beautiful shopping. And you know what? The prices are incredible. The things are really, really reasonable here. So don't forget to pay a visit to the old center of Corfu town. Well, just in front of me here is the church of Saint Spiridon. And these streets here, they're just full of religious art pieces like this one here. And there's a lot of disabled people that they come here once every year to see if there will be a miracle and they could walk again. But since that miracle will happen, shouldn't we look after these people that they're probably on a wheelchair and make sure that they have good access at whatever they need to go to? And it's so funny when you go to Los Angeles and you see the wheelchair ramps in the footpaths, that they're facing the wrong direction. Is it me? I don't know. Maybe I'm used to Sydney. I mean, it's a great city. And I think that the people think a little bit more than the Americans. Because over there, if you have a look, like here in Corfu, we have a footpath that has a ramp to one direction and to the other direction. But what do the Americans do? The ramps go diagonally, this way. What happens? Am I that fussy? Well, guess what? We actually experienced that with a friend of ours that he was in a wheelchair. What happened to him? He just went straight out and in the middle of the street and he was nearly run over by a car in the middle of Beverly Hills. So please have a look at this design, this crazy design of maybe, I don't know, maybe they did it because it's only one ramp and not two, just for economic reasons. But where in Beverly Hills where there's so much money, it can't be. So I'm sure that there's a mistake there because you can't have a pedestrian ramp access to go straight through in the middle of the street. Do what the Corfians do, the Athenians perhaps, and what they do in Australia. In every intersection, in every corner, one ramp this way to go to the opposite side and another ramp this way to go to that side and not this way in the middle of the street. And another thing about the buses is that they do have a ramp, hydraulic ramp, and you can use it if you're disabled with your wheelchair. For me, a great city is a city that also caters for bicycles. If someone was to ride his bicycle, her bicycle, they should have access to bicycle lanes and to bicycles to rent and access to buses and trains. Let's have a look at this report.
There are plenty of bicycle stations around Los Angeles where you can hire a bicycle at $25 per month. And once you're finished with it, you can drop it off at any station. But what do you do if you want to catch the bus? In most places around the world, you are not permitted to take your bicycle on a bus. The Angelenos, however, have been very innovative, attaching bicycle racks in front of all buses. Yep, throw your bike in the rack and jump on board. And as we were about to give Los Angeles a 10 out of 10, we searched for the bicycle tracks. The result? We couldn't find any, not one single track to be seen. And riding amongst the traffic can be very dangerous. We witnessed one vehicle and cycle accident during our 3-week visit. So we gave Los Angeles a score of 6 out of 10 for cycle friendliness. Whilst at the bicycle station, grab yourself a free book, but don't forget to leave one either. Another nice touch. Remember the rules. Don't read and ride.
We talked about alcohol in Los Angeles in America and Australia. It's funny, but we went to this Greek festival while we were in LA. And for me, it was very funny because they asked me to put a blue band over my wrist. Yeah. And I asked them, why do we have to wear this? They said, because you're not allowed to drink if you're under 20 years old. And I said, thank you very much for the compliment. And it's incredible that you think that I'm under 20 years old. But the funny thing is, they didn't just ask me. They asked also our friends, Costa, and they asked Peter as well. And I think he's around about 80 years old. And they put a blue wrist over him as well, which is a little bit strange when you could tell that he's over 20 years old. Anyway, we went to this Greek festival, and the American Greeks, they know how to really give it a go when it comes to Greek music and dancing. The food was great. We found every single thing you could imagine over there in way of food. They also had plenty of kids rides over there, which is really good. I think that a lot of festivals around the world, they should just take that idea and use it, because it's a great thing for kids and for grown-ups as well. But the Greek dancing was different because it's not just the Greeks that go there. We saw Mexicans, we saw South Americans, we saw people from all over the world going to the Greek festival. And apparently, when there is an Armenian festival, everybody goes to the Armenian festival as well, which is a great thing. It's not just about Greece or Armenia or Turkey or whatever. It's about having good fun. And the Americans really know how to have fun. We're going to finish this episode now with a little bit of Greek dancing and a little bit of Greek music. See you next week. Thank you for watching.